Alright, let's go. This better be good. After 1 hour looking for parking. Let's go here. Now what the hell is this? Is this pontoon or boat? Looks like pontoon, but it's got the hull of a boat. So you can actually go fast. 48,000. Not too bad for all this thing. For 48,000 you can get a tiny little bass boat. Tata, you like bona fide kayak? How much?
Can't beat that. How many guys?
2.
2? Weekday?
Yeah.
Alright, weekday you're looking at 350 here.
For 2 guys?
2 guys.
That's not too bad. Can I? Yeah, give me this.
Yeah.
How far from the shore do you go? What's the closest you can find fish?
15, 20 feet of water, May, 100 yards.
Really? That close to the bank?
May, yeah.
What is the smallest boat do you think you can do fishing in Michigan if I wanna buy one?
16 foot.
You can still do? I think it's scary.
You got, well, yeah.
16 is okay?
18.
Oh, finally Shimano.
You know what it takes to cook?
Sahara. Let's see the Sahara. Damn, Sahara is so smooth. It feels like a $200 reel. Typical Shimano drag. Sahara is super smooth. Sedona. Damn, even Sedona is smooth.
Yeah, that's who bought them. Okay.
What's the name of this reel again?
My friend runs the fishing division at Rubbermaid.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to educate myself on all these brands that they own. Yeah. No, that's...
And all of these Shimanos are super smooth, even the cheapest ones. Before I found the actual Daiwa booth, I found the booth of this little tackle shop, and the first thing I tried was the new LT series of reels from Daiwa. LT standing for light but tough. Now, these reels left a really strong impression on me, but before I share my impressions, I want to kind of put my opinions in perspective. Man, so smooth. I don't want to be confused with the guy who bought a casking reel on Amazon and then left a 5-star raging review how it's the smoothest reel he has ever touched. I bought some casking reels from Amazon. They're not very smooth. Does it mean that this guy is lying?
Fuego LT.
No, it doesn't. He just never spent more than $40 on a reel. But he didn't mention this in his review, and now he's creating the wrong impression. I don't know how many of my reel reviews you've seen, but I have 11 mag-sealed reels from Daiwa, and I have used them for years, and I got a pretty good idea of what smooth is supposed to feel like. So keep this in mind when I tell you the following. All 5 of these Daiwa LT reels feel freaking smooth. They don't feel exactly the same because they have different gear ratios, some have more bearings than others. But in terms of pure smoothness, you know, trying to feel the gears of the reel, I dare somebody to try all of these reels and say that one is smoother than the other. So if you remember one thing from this video, it should be that these are all incredibly smooth reels. So with that set straight, the reels do have small differences in feel and appearance. So here are my short impressions on each of these 5 reels. My favorite reel of these 5, I don't care what you're gonna say, is actually the cheapest, the Legalis. The best looking reel of the pack, without a doubt, and by a long shot, is the Daiwa Tatula. With matte all black, it just looks amazing. But because it only comes in a 6.3:1 gear ratio, you know, when you spin the handle, you feel a slight resistance that wasn't present in all the reels. The Ballistic, that has the most bearings and is actually mag sealed, so it's supposed to have less resistance than the other reels, actually had even more resistance when you spin the handle than the Tatula. I really can't find any logical explanation for this, except that maybe they use thicker grease that they put on the gears for the different reels. But either way, of all 5 of these reels, the reel with the most resistance when you spin the handle was the most expensive one, the Ballistic. And I kinda dislike that. Then you have the Fuego. The Fuego was a very interesting and very disappointing reel for me. First of all, at $100, Daiwa introduced mag sealing. Now, the Tatula cost $190 and doesn't have mag seal. Fuego costs $100 and it has mag seal. Does this make sense to you? The only way that would make sense to you is if you've had a job in marketing. Because marketing, those guys, they have different brains from the engineers. So when Daiwa initially released the whole line, I initially thought that Fuego will be the reel with best value of the pack because it has mag seal at $100. But after today, I think that Fuego is actually my least favorite reel of the pack. First of all, the finish of the frame, it looks completely like plastic, like they made this reel out of plastic. And then when you spin it, it just doesn't feel as pleasant as the other reels. I don't know how to describe it. It's still smooth, you can't feel the gears, but not as tight. I just didn't like this reel. The Daiwa LT, also a little bit ugly, too much yellow. You know, it's like I'm looking at the golden teeth of one of these obnoxious movie characters. I have the old generation of Exceller, and those look really nice. I don't know why they had to put that much gold here. But anyway, the reel feels really smooth, really tight. Didn't find nothing wrong with it, nothing to complain from. And also, I've used the old generation of Exceller for 2 years now, and I've caught probably 100 carp on each of them. And those reels have proven very reliable, so I have nothing but good expectations from the new Exceller. But with respect to that resistance, that slight resistance when you turn the handle that I felt with the Tatula and with the Ballistic, that's also present with the Exceller. I don't know why, but it has a little bit of resistance, maybe just weight. Which finally brings me to the Legalis. First of all, this reel looks much better in person than in the official Daiwa webpage. Yeah, it has some yellow, but it's kinda nuanced, it's not as much as on the Exceller, and overall it looks really good. I think it looks better than the Daiwa BG, which I also saw in person. It's one good looking reel. And then with respect to how it felt in hand, it felt much better than the Fuego. I don't know if it's because the Legalis is heavier than the Fuego, but when you hold it, it doesn't feel plasticky like the Fuego. In terms of smoothness, it's just as smooth as the other reels, like I said 5 times already. But with respect to that little resistance when you turn the handle, this one is probably the lightest of them all. Now I think the reason for this is that the Legalis and the Fuego were in 5.2 to 1 gear ratio and the other reels were in 6.3 to 1. So naturally, for the same one crank of the handle, the Ballistic and the Tatula need to do a lot more work, and that's why they just feel heavy. I'm gonna stop my narration now so you can hear my unedited impressions. Expo LT.
Actually, the high tide low, some of those actually work decent. Yeah. Only way to try to finish.
Man, so smooth.
When a swing shark, take, you're in Key West and it takes up.
Fuego LT. This one feels plastic. I know this one is cheaper but feels metal.
That's just because of the matte finish.
The Ballistic has a lot of resistance. So does the Tatula. This one, not a lot of resistance. I really like this cheap Legalis. And then after spending all that time at the tackle shop, I see the actual Daiwa booth on my way out. And I couldn't help it and decided to test the same reels once again and see if I can confirm my impressions. So easy. My God. 4,000. So easy this one, no resistance. Let's try 4,000 Exceller. More drag, interesting. It has actually more drag. Fuego. Fuego is light. I really like this Legalis. Really light feel. They're all smooth. They are all so smooth that you can't tell which one is smoother. But the Exceller feels heavier and the Fuego feels plastic. I like the Legalis. Daiwa Exist 30. I don't feel the magic. It's a great 3,000. I did not feel this magic. So yeah, I don't feel this magic. I don't feel this magic. This one is alright, but very high gear ratio, not for bottom fishing. Daiwa Legalis is the best. I'm gonna buy me some Daiwa Legalis. Finally, this Daiwa BG everybody keeps talking about. Looks very nice. BG 3000, big spool. 3000 looks big enough. No, it's not as smooth. It is not as smooth as the Legalis. I don't know why. I don't like the bail thin. The 3500 is already too big. A little bit of free play in the handle. No, not as smooth. I don't know what all the rage is about. I think I'm gonna stop this video here. I saw and even purchased some really interesting products, but I wanna make a different video for those because this video is already 15 minutes. Now with respect to the LT reels, remember that these are just initial impressions. I spent no more than 5 minutes per reel just spinning the handle and testing the drag and the bail mechanism and the free play on the handle. That's it. You know, the same stuff that I do on my reviews, but I haven't fished those reels, and that's really important. I don't know how they feel under load, which is very different from how they feel, you know, when freelining. I don't know what their durability is gonna be. The only thing I can promise you is that I got really impressed by this entire line of reels. And while all of them felt great, my personal favorite happened to be the cheapest of them all, the Daiwa Legalis. As a matter of fact, I liked them so much that that same day I bought 2 of them. I bought a 2500 to compare with my finesse reels, and I bought a 4000 to compare with my carp and catfish reels. So I will be making some much more detailed reviews on the Daiwa Legalis once I test it on the water a little bit. So if you are interested in these LT reels and Legalis in particular, stay tuned because I will make much more detailed reviews once I get the reels and once I test them on the water a little bit. And I promise my detailed review on those reels will be in much better quality. I apologize again about the quality of this video, but if you've ever had kids, you'll forgive me. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon with episode 2 of this same Expo.